Hello, Aquarius. Thank you very much for tuning in to this week's read. For the main part of the read, I'm using the Cosmic Slumber Tarot by Tilly Walden. Website on the bottom here is liminal11.com. Feel free to check that out, of course, if you would like to. Supportive Oracle Cards. You Are Clairvoyant Oracle Cards by Belinda Grace. Illustrations by Elaine Marzin. Website in the back here, rockpoolpublishing.com.au. A as an apple, U as an umbrella. Okay, what do we have for Aquarius? Oh, that's interesting. Is there a third party in this one? There might be a third party. So, can this work out is my first question. Somebody seems to be ignoring something. And my question is, like, can we get along? Can this kind of re-gel? Sometimes you do get along with this person. Sometimes, you know, it's kind of like we get along fine, everything's cool. Not always, but sometimes. I feel like this is somebody that, depending on the subject, I might actually look forward to seeing them, depending on the subject. I don't feel like I dislike them. It just depends on the subject if I really am looking forward to seeing them or not. I don't know how else to say that. I feel like that makes sense if this is going to hit. Currently, they're not... I don't feel like they're around. I feel like they're not present. I feel like they're not present. I don't know if they're just not... Even if you're like literally, say you work with this person and they sit right next to you, it's like they're just not emotionally there. It's just like it feels like they're emotionally vacant. Is that what I want to say? Even if they're physically right next to you, it's like they're not there because they're not communicating. Or I feel like that's it. They're not really communicating, especially because it's the Seven of Swords, and I'm seeing the Five of Pentacles right next to it. They're not dealing with something. They're not dealing with something. I wouldn't say that they're keeping you in the dark. They might be keeping themselves in the dark. I feel like they're not dealing with something. They're just literally not dealing with it. Just not dealing with it. Whatever it is. There's something that they're not dealing with. Clearly it affects you. I feel like that's why it's showing up here. The thing is, they're going to end up defaulting to a decision because of it. Is there any... Well, if you're in this state, if Aquarius is in this part where the person that they're dealing with is just emotionally vacant, is there anything that Aquarius can do to change this? Because I'm not sure you're going to like this outcome at first. Two of Wands in Judgment in your favor. Being very random and just starting random conversations with this person. Like if you keep switching subjects, I feel like Aquarius can do this quite easily. If you just keep switching subjects and keep them engaged, I feel like they'll spill the beans without realizing they're spilling the beans. If you want to know what's going on, you'll find out what they're avoiding. I do think this is a good thing for you, because I get automatic writing, but when I'm feeling it for you, I don't feel like writing. I feel like just like switching conversations, just talking about things off the cuff, just switching channels. It's like watching TV and keep switching channels. I feel like they kind of, they spill the beans. I feel like that's what this is saying. I feel like that's what that's about. What do you find out? You find out what they really want. Maybe this is something that they feel like the reason they're avoiding the thought, they're not letting themselves think about it, is because maybe it's something they feel like has passed them by, or they've missed the boat, whatever you want to say. And I feel like Aquarius is smart. You might be like, well, if you go this way and you do this, that boat actually is still available. I don't know how this is going to sound, but this is what I'm getting, so I'm going to go with it. Doesn't mean anybody's this age, but I'm like, it's like mid to late 30s, people go through the midlife crisis thing. At least men do. I think women do it in their own way. I don't know. I don't know for sure. But the point is, it's kind of like that age coming around and kind of feeling like I missed all my opportunities for maybe being an athletic superstar. And you're kind of like, well, I don't know about being an athletic superstar, but if you do this and do that, you could pull it together and maybe you could do things that you didn't think you could do. You can still have a good time. You can still participate in certain sports if you still want to do that. You can see possibilities where they're saying, no, I think it's already screwed. I think we're too late. And you might be like, well, I don't know about that. And if you really want it, here's some opportunities. Here's what I would do if I was in your shoes. And I would give this a try and just edit it and deal with it and change it as I go and see what works and see what doesn't and work with what works. A lot of fast energy going on there. You got to keep them talking fast too. Try not to let them settle on the I can't thing. Try not to let them oversettle on what's not working. So for example, maybe they have a bum knee, so they're like, I can't run anymore. I have a bum knee, so I can't do anything. And you're like, well, maybe you can't run anymore, but there's that you could get a knee brace, and there's this you could do, and there's that you could do, possibly with the knee brace. So it's like if they're like, I can't run, so I can't play forward in soccer. Like, but maybe you could be goalie. Maybe you could be coach. Maybe there's this. Maybe there's that. You could see opportunities where other people can't, is what I'm getting. Especially kind of like, if it's like a lower level, like it's not like professional soccer, football in Europe. If it's not professional, like you're just doing it for fun, maybe there still are possibilities. You can still enjoy it. You just don't have. You can't just can't be super crazy competitive. If you can get them to talk, this makes a big difference, because if they don't talk, I feel like they're going to default. Things are going to move on. And I feel like they're very upset. That becomes a whole new problem. And this does affect your life in some respect. I feel like that's why it's coming in. We don't want this person, especially if it's somebody who is close to you or if you live with them, if they're a partner, for example. If their energy goes down and stays down, it does drag you down after a while. I just feel like it will. This is a chance to catch that before it goes too deep. Because when it hits a certain level, they have to kind of figure it out on their own. You can try to help, but until they want to pull up out of that, it's their ball of wax. You can try, but you can't force. So maybe this is a chance to pull that up. It's not, granted, it's not your responsibility to do that, but I feel like this is one of those things where, like, if I have an opportunity to help, I want to help. One of those things. Does that make sense? I don't know. It seems weird to me. I don't know if maybe I'm not hitting that right. Let me just see. Because it's not, this is literally, I don't feel like it's your responsibility, but it's kind of like if you're ever going to get a chance to make an effect, I feel like this is your strongest chance. Your easiest, no, I don't want to say easiest. Ten of Swords, again, and the Emperor. That's why switching the conversation, keep things going fast. If they are hell-bent that it's just screwed, it is too late, the closer they get to that, the farther they get down that road, the harder it is for them to turn back. What they do with that, I don't know. Because I feel like if this goes better soon, there's an opportunity. It doesn't have to go crazy bad. I don't feel like we have to go to complete devastation. I don't feel like we have to hit the Ten of Swords. They're headed towards it. The Ten of Swords is devastation. There's an opportunity here. It is subject to them, though. Some of you could say all the right things and still it won't change where they're going. But I feel like this is kind of like that opportunity to maybe help them see a better way, to see the light behind the clouds, the sun behind the clouds. It won't be perfect, but it could still be good. It's kind of like having that partially rainy day. It's kind of like, you know what, we might get 2 or 3 hours of sunshine. We can do a lot in those 2 to 3 hours. That way it's not a complete washout. There's certain things, like maybe the ground is wet, but the sidewalks are dry enough that we can still do things on the sidewalk. We can go for a walk. We can do this. We can do that. Bring the right rain gear so we can enjoy what we can while our opportunity is available. You might be able to point that type of thing out. Otherwise, I do see this kind of like, if it does go to the tower moment and they hit that devastation moment, I feel like you're going to have to disconnect and just let them do what they need to do. I don't know what's going on with this tower mark, because I feel like if it hits that tower, I don't know. If it hits the tower mark, where's it going for Aquarius? You don't like it, but I feel like you're going to have to back off from it. And you're going to have to let this person figure out their own situation. If you're going to have an effect, it's happening in this moment. Keeping them talking about different things while they're still responsive. If that moment passes and they hit devastation, I just don't know what to say. It's not your responsibility. It's not your fault. I give you that. But for some reason, I keep feeling this energy on Aquarius' side. Like, I feel like I can do something and I want to do something. If there's ever going to be a moment, this is the moment. But they still have that ability to go their own direction. You can't control them. So if it's ever going to work, this is the moment where it's going to work. Otherwise, I feel like you're going to have to let go. You're still going to be a positive energy towards this person, but I feel like if they hit that devastation, they're just going to be kind of like closed off to you. And if they're going to be closed off to you, that's that. Once they close it off, it's kind of like if you're talking to somebody but they're not hearing you. It's kind of like, it makes me feel like it's a phone call. If you're talking to them but they've turned off the phone, or like maybe you're talking to them but like they just put you in a drawer and they walked away, you're still talking to them but they have no idea what you're saying. They're completely disconnected. There's only so much you can do. I still see, again, you're a positive connection here, but they have to want to do what they want to do. I almost feel like this is like trying to like help you make peace with like there's only so much you can do. If they let you help, if they give the ability to talk with them, you can help them find a way to make things better if they're open to it. But if they're not open to it, there's only so much you can do. Because I do see like there's a cycle going on here with this person. Some people can spend a long time in the dark part. I hate to say this, I really hate to say it, but people can spend years there. God forbid decades. Everybody's different. When the cycle comes around again, they have to pick up the pieces. They have to reconstruct the situation and build it the way they want to. They have to pick themselves up. I do feel like you'll be there for them when they're ready to pick themselves up, but it's something that they have to make that choice for. I almost feel like this is kind of like really painful for you to watch. You might, if you're open to it, want to get therapy and talk about the situation with a therapist so they can help you see what you're able to do and what you're able to just wait and hold back for. Because I feel like whoever this is, they mean a lot to you if this reading is hitting. So it's hard to watch, and it's like, I want to feel like we can make this better. I want them to listen to me. I want this to improve, but it's kind of like, I don't want them to suffer like this. I really don't like it. And I want to show them that they don't have to stay down there in this devastation. But again, if they're not responding to you, I mean, there's only so much you can do. So the key thing here is if they're honestly going to communicate with you and talk things out with you, I feel like you can make things happen, but be careful with that too, because if they don't like the conversation, it may look like they're engaged, but they might not be engaged with the conversation. Be careful of that too. Like, you know, when somebody is talking to you, but they're more thinking about what's going on for them rather than what you're saying, it's hard to pull somebody out of that, especially if they see you more as a challenge rather than a help. I don't know how else to say that. Like, if they see you more as a problem, more as in somebody helping them, that they're also going to, like, everything you say is going to have a negative tinge to it. That's not going to help either. So I guess they can't just listen. They have to try to listen to you in a positive light. So there's that. This one's a rough one, in my opinion. I mean, the advice was there. If you can get them to talk to you, keep switching subjects, keep them talking, keep getting them to switch subjects, get them to try other things. It may even be something where you need them to try something separate from. So, for example, if they want to do something athletic and their body is just not cooperating with that, helping them find something else that's not athletic and kind of getting them involved in something else without realizing you're distracting them. Like maybe they can do video games, maybe they can do baking, because I'm a foodie. Maybe they can do travel within respect to something else. But then again, you don't want to like take them somewhere where they have to like use maybe a wheelchair to get up a mountain, because that's going to highlight what they can't do. So maybe you got to be careful and like, you know what you need to do. That might be another option here. Keep them thinking, keep their mind off of it for a while. Show them where life can be good without bringing up the subject of what can't be good, just keeping away from that subject because they don't want to deal with it anyway. But once you start strengthening them with other things they can do that's away from that, so like, I feel like this is like, I keep coming back to the athlete thing, so it must be it's going to hit for somebody. Maybe this is a person who used to be very athletic in the past and they can't do that anymore. But you can show them other things they can enjoy life with without highlighting what they can't do. So like highlighting something else that like everybody can do. It doesn't matter if you can be athletic or not. To me, baking, you don't have to be athletic to bake. Well, even if like, stirring things, you have electric mixers and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So that might be another way to go with this. Maybe that's the part I'm supposed to highlight. Okay. Hopefully that helps. I think I'm going to shut it down here and let it be. Hopefully that's helpful. Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below. Same email. Thank you again for watching. Have a great day.